Welcome, everyone, to a very special RB1 colon fantasy football podcast, colon actually a gambling podcast hosted by not really gamblers. I am your humble host, Pete Rogers.
Wow.
Oh, Clark Barnes, an expert in the gambling world, so he claims. Clark, how you doing?
Wait, you claim that?
I claim nothing. I claim nothing. Don't you dare! Don't you dare put this on me.
We're doing great. We're coming to you on location from the in-laws' house. So pretty excited day in broadcasting.
Look at that. I just all kinds of change of location. And oh my God, there's an adorable little puppy picture back behind you too.
Yes. Future mother-in-law is a bit of a dog breeder. And so I am in the Katie's old room, which is kind of the guest room / dog room.
Wow.
Wonderful. Wow. Lots of memories in here.
Lots of beautiful puppies too, it looks like.
Yes.
My beautiful puppy is currently staring at me from his crate as I throw him in every time we podcast. So
wonderful. Ready to come at you with the stats and information. So.
Exactly. He's our new stats and information guy for Fake Teams podcast. So
excellent.
He's doing pretty good so far. It's an internship. We'll see if he gets the full-time gig. We figured we're going to throw together, first of all, it's been a while since Clark has been on the show. So we wanted to have a special before Super Bowl show so we can get Clark on to talk about the Super Bowl since he missed Monday's show or Tuesday's show when you listen to it. But also we figured, hey, let's do a little Super Bowl LIV gambling advice from some non-gamblers. And so we're going to look at some of our favorite lines and our favorite prop bets and whatnot and just kind of preview the Super Bowl through that methodology. And so I don't know, Clark, where do you want to start? Do you want to start? I mean, the very basic currently, as I look at Bovada.com, San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, they have 49ers plus 1.5 favorites. Are you pro that?
I'm really interested in this Super Bowl because I can tell myself a story about who's going to win, and it's been a little while since that's happened. So I think San Francisco is the dog getting the 1.5 points, and I think that they're the better team, and I think that their offense is more apt to perform well under this odd circumstances of the 4-hour-long halftime break, the 2-week run-up to the game, the milieu of nonsense that is just thrown at NFL fans and players, I'm sure, during this time. So I think trust the run game and trust Shanahan more than trust the extremely prolific, greatest show on turf-esque offense, where a lot of good things have to happen at the same time to work in kind of an odd environment. So I think San Francisco is going to win outright, and I'd certainly take the 1.5 just because, if Kansas City squeaks it out by a point, you can still take the W.
Still take the win. Yeah. I am with you on just that the 49ers will win. I do trust Kyle Shanahan and this offense more. And I think you're right. And we talked about this on Tuesday's show a little bit, just in the fact that it does seem that offenses that rely, and not so much rely on the big play, not that the Kansas City Chiefs do that, but just like that have that huge big play element to it, that doesn't translate necessarily all that well to Super Bowls, it seems.
Yeah, I think it's harder to translate. It can, absolutely. And I mean, we've seen that with the Patriots. I mean, when they need a play, they can make a play. But I have completely unplugged from the NFL world for the past 2 weeks because I just really don't like the types of reporting. But I mean, how many people on these teams have been to a Super Bowl? Is it 3? I mean, Shanahan probably has the most experience as a coordinator.
Jimmy G is a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback.
So all right. So that proves my point, right?
Exactly.
I think Andy Reid went once with the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of inexperience in this game and on both sides, so neither team gets an advantage. But this is taking nothing away from Kansas City. I don't think they're a fluke. In a league full of great offensive teams, they are amazing. They have so many weapons and ways to beat you.
I have to quickly go get my lunch.
Yeah. The RB1 podcast brought to you by DoorDash. Are you a hardworking stay-at-home sports reporter doing a special podcast because your podcast mate's internet is too shitty? Well, if so, don't forget about how convenient and fast DoorDash deliveries can be.
I
DoorDash.
used just good old Jimmy John's.
Ah, well, you can then just cut the commercial that I did.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Jimmy John's. Fast,
Jimmy John's.
easy sandwiches.
Yeah, so I definitely like the 49ers getting the 1.5 points if you were a betting man on that. The over under on Tuesday's podcast we talked with
it's big. I was like, oh, over for sure. And then I saw the number. I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, that's a lot.
We talked with Oscar Aprizio from the Better Rivals podcast, which is a 49ers podcast. And he was saying he is taking the over. It's 54 points right now, 54.5 points. I would love this to be an exciting offensive explosion, and not even offensive, a scoring explosion. Because, like I said on that show, I would love it. I could see this being that Chiefs-Rams game where you had a lot of points on both offenses, but also that both defenses made big plays and had some scores. After the 13-3 Super Bowl last year, I would welcome a Super Bowl where it's over 54 points. But it does seem, I don't know. It does seem like that is, I mean, trust Vegas to set the odds right where you're like, oh, it could go either way. Because as in my head, I'm like, well, if the Chiefs score, if it's 30-26, that's 56. Well, that's over. So there you go. Well, maybe I'll take the over. Just talked myself into it.
Yeah. That's big. I mean, for you math fans, that's 28-28, right? So that
for all you math fans at home,
that seems like for these teams an incredibly low score, but the Super Bowl is just so hard to predict because it is such a unique experience. I mean, so yeah, I think you said the line is 54 right now. And we're doing this live. Like, I've looked at these, but I wanted to kind of get the reaction and walk through the thoughts here. I'm gonna take the over because even though the Niners pass rush, I think, is really gonna get after Mahomes, I just can't see this game being 20-13. I think if San Francisco dominates the run, they're going to be able to still score a lot, and you can slow Kansas City, but yeah, they are pretty much unstoppable. So yeah, I think I'm on the train with everyone else. I think I'm going on over on 40 points, and I'm writing these down. So if we do really well, we can discuss it, and then if we don't do well, we can just go right into like top 10 RBs for next year.
Right, exactly. Just go straight on to 2020 and just
over on 54.
Okay, just ignore everything we're saying.
Yes.
Well, let's move on to one of the most classic prop bets, and I feel like this is another good over/under that people always will check with their stopwatches, and that's how long the national anthem will be sung. Now, I've seen a whole bunch of times that you can see is over under, all roughly around 2 minutes, flirting with 2 minutes. The most I saw was 2 minutes and 4 seconds, the over being minus 130. With Demi Lovato singing, I would take the over. She sung the national anthem for the World Series back in 2015. I think it was like game 4 or something. It went 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Demi Lovato
analysis
likes to hold her notes. She wants to get that vibrato in there, which I'm all for because she has an amazing voice. So I would hit the over on that hard. I was trying to find what's the highest time that I could find, and then gives me the best odds, because like they had 150, and it's like, yeah, 150 is not giving me anything. I need some good risk here. And 2 minutes 4 seconds minus 130. I'll take that.
Okay. I'm going to take a page out of the Oracle's book here. I stopped listening to music when Papa Roach came on the scene. So tell me a little bit about Demi Lovato. Is she country western? Is she hip hop?
She's pop. She's pop. Yeah, she
is she making her brand on like, I'm a really good singer, or is she a real chesty girl?
She's done a whole bunch of stuff. So she is a very good singer, and also is very very attractive.
Okay.
And so let me see. Should know. Let me see. Listen. Does this tell me songs? Oh, songs. I'm
So I
doing
would
a
say,
Google
like,
search.
just for some
the puppy's
some
doing some stats and informations right now for us.
some context for what I'm looking for to fill a little time while the pupster's doing it. I feel like Mariah Carey takes great pride in being a good singer, although she is also attractive. I have never heard or seen Britney Spears to act as though she is some great blessing upon people's
Good.
ears, kind of just shaking it. Right.
That's a great one too to describe, to let me know exactly what you're thinking. Demi
all
Lovato.
artists that haven't put out an album in probably 15 years for our younger listeners. Those are two singers.
Those are that's where Clark's knowledge of
Right.
music stops. Demi Lovato is much more on the Mariah Carey side of things.
Okay, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, definitely
take the over. Because they want it to go far,
Right.
They got,
and again, I can't stress enough. 2 minutes 30 MLB World Series back in 2015, and it was an aggressive 2:30. She was holding notes at the end. I mean, the last like 10 words of the anthem went for like 45 seconds. So I'm taking.
I love it, and I love these particular bets where that there's like a nephew-in-law that's like, "Hey, Demi, no, we haven't talked in a long time, but
Demi,
what are you thinking about the length of the?"
Have you practiced roughly how long? Just give me a rough estimate how long you've been singing.
Running around to every book in Reno, putting down the maximum $100 bet.
Right.
On the over.
In this situation, because unless you have like a phenomenal skill at being able to tell and judge time, like I can't tell you how long time, if I don't have a clock on me, I can't tell you how long a minute is. Do you think she's allowed to bet on herself because of the fact that she doesn't have real control? Like if there's no sense of time for her, can she bet on herself and just be like, we'll see how long it takes?
So, I mean, like, with enough time, money, and effort, you can make anything happen. But I think a lot of these bets are usually limited to where you cannot put enough on it to jeopardize your public career with singing. I would assume that someone who tours and someone who does performances on like the Dave Letterman show or like whoever's doing that stuff now is pretty good at understanding time, because they've got to get in and get out of radio segments and things like that. So I bet they have a pretty good understanding. And I bet someone like, Janet Jackson and all those folks are like, I'm taking my freaking time. I've earned it. And she may have that kind of attitude. Just wild speculation here on the RB1 podcast.
As well you should. If you get to sing the national anthem at a Super Bowl, don't rush that. Yeah. Let that thing come naturally.
And it gives the producer more time to cut away to people's faces and flag waving. Right. And we all know the NFL loves faces and flag waving.
God damn it, yes. As long as those faces are either seated or standing. But if you're kneeling, we're not cutting to you.
And like if you're having a hot dog or something, no problem. But if you're espousing your political beliefs and hoisting them on the rest of us, unless it's the ones I have, no thank you.
Unacceptable. We will not show that. The other kind of most important, I feel like I always enjoyed looking at Super Bowl MVP odds, because I feel like those are, you always get a good list of players, obviously, but then not only that, it's also fun to see like create a scenario where this person could win Super Bowl MVP and you could win a shit ton of money off of them. Currently, Patrick Mahomes is the favorite, plus 115. Jimmy G plus 275, Raheem Mostert plus 550. And then, so those are the top three. Like those in my mind are the easiest. Obviously a quarterback is the easiest to make a narrative for, because more or less they're always going to win it. Like if the Chiefs win, I have a really hard time believing Patrick Mahomes is not going to win the Super Bowl MVP. If the 49ers win, Raheem Mostert at plus 550 seems pretty saucy to me as a pretty surefire bet.
Yeah, I like it. And you know me, I like to come up with stories and just do the thought experiment of how things might go. I think everyone would love Jimmy G to take it home. Super pretty. Former Patriot, now doing it with the Niners. There'll be, countless references to fucking Steve Young and throwing the monkey off his back. That story just writes itself. So people would love that.
It's gorgeous.
So if he does okay, then they'll do that. Really hasn't been a Niners game. They really haven't had to rely much on him to do that. So I think Mostert is more, outside of we really want to give it to a quarterback because that's who we show on the camera all the time.
Right.
I think Mostert would be the most logical offensive choice because you can tell yourself a story where he just runs for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns and just absolutely dominates. Something that I'm really interested in for a 49ers entry chance, and you'll have to tell me what the odds are, Nick Bosa potentially just wrecking the game for the defense. Maybe strip sack, fumble, couple of sacks, maybe a few deflected passes or something like that. Where is rookie Nick Bosa sitting at?
Plus 1,800.
I'll put $30 on that.
Yeah, those are some real nice. And you're right that the narrative is 100% there because it's not just a like, oh, Nick Bosa had such a good rookie year, and this would be such a beautiful cap to it, and all this. It's like he's been dominant throughout the playoffs so far. Like he has continued his regular season success well through the playoffs, and we've seen him make big plays, and we've seen him take over games so far in his young career. And if he does take over a game, like if the Chiefs' offense is going to stumble, it's going to be because of this 49ers pass rush, and likely it's going to be because of Nick Bosa, and the Chiefs tackles aren't the greatest. Mitchell Schwartz is pretty good. But Nick Bosa at plus 1,800 is pretty. He's the first defensive player in terms of odds. And that makes sense.
So not incredibly necessarily creative, but still big odds and fun. I don't think anyone from the Chiefs could do it.
I said maybe Tyrone Mayhew, like if he shuts down George Kittle and gets
he's in the media, right? People
if he gets like
already.
A pick six and a forced fumble and a couple of really big tackles, maybe
and he's got a good story, right? So like if Nick Bosa won it, Twitter would explode with virtue signaling. Yeah. So I think that's a mark against Nick Bosa. We might see some old tweets resurface and hold things back with that. Yeah. Tyrann Mathieu, I think for especially a lot of folks, that's a redemption story, even though, I mean, like, it shouldn't be. You like to smoke weed in college. Not
what do you redeem? Right, you don't need to redeem yourself from anything.
But good for him, right? Like, was kind of on the outs, and his career was in jeopardy, and he's become a fantastic player at a really devalued position that we know who he is really amazing. And he's been playing really well and has turned around the Chiefs. Hasn't single-handedly done it, but
has been a
very vocal leader in the turnaround of the Chiefs defense. So he's a really sneaky candidate. And bets like this, unless the smart money is Patrick Mahomes, right? That's it. You can tell yourself a story very easily.
Plus 115, which isn't bad.
Yeah. He does 275, 3 touchdowns, and the Chiefs win.
Done.
Do you think the NFL will do anything to have it not be Patrick Mahomes? Like, no way. They want it to be him. But if you're going to go out on an edge and put like $20, $30 that you are donating to the book on something, I like to pick the defensive guy and especially in such an offensive game, you're getting long odds here. So.
Right. Plus 6,600 for Tyrone Mayhew.
Yeah. You got to. I
mean, why not?
You got to do that.
Just throw something on it.
So I'm like an hour and a half from the Canadian border. If anyone can tweet me quickly, I have Saturday off as well. What is the closest sports book to Bo, Washington? Because I will make the drive. I have passport, will travel.
Clark is ready. The gambling juices are flowing through him right now.
I will post these incredibly small and unimpressive bets on Twitter if someone can get me this information.
Are there other important ones we should hit up before we kind of start talking about some of our favorites and our surefire ones that we're definitely making?
Just a general comment. So looking through the Bovada props, I'm seeing a lot of things like Mostert gets 70 yards and a touchdown, and you're not getting great odds on there. Like, those are parlays in straight bet clothing.
Yeah.
So I would be very weary of the yardage plus touchdown thing, unless you're being super conservative. And the Mostert one, 7 yards and a touchdown, I think is pretty conservative. But it's not hard to see Tevin Coleman sneaking in there for one, then George Kittle getting one, and Breida. It's the yardage plus touchdown things. Right. Something I'm not too hip on if I'm not getting that like 4x parlay type money back.
Right. If you're getting, because I don't know what the odds are in that one specific, but if you're getting like plus 150. That's not worth it.
I'll pull it up here. We're just scrolling through all of
Yeah,
these as we do the pod. So, and I don't know how to I'm sure Bovada's website is better than I'm using it, but I don't know how to do it.
They have a bunch of weird categories now, which is like somewhat overwhelming.
It's overwhelming and awesome. It's just I don't know how to. Yeah. I don't know how to do it. I will find one.
While you find it, let me give you my absolute favorite prop bet for this Super Bowl, and one that I'm almost certainly going to put money on, and I know I'm going to lose money on it, but I'm okay with it. Plus 1,400, Andy Reid wears a Hawaiian shirt to coach the Super Bowl.
Oh, is there an under?
I'll take the no. The no is minus 10,000.
Okay, shit.
I would love if Andy Reid. This just seems to me like the perfect conclusion to Andy Reid's legacy. I mean, and I'm not saying that he's going to retire after this, but in Miami, in a Super Bowl where it's just this is it. I'm putting all my chips on the table. You never know if you can make it back. I have the most talented quarterback in the NFL. I have an offense that has come back from multiple 20+ point deficits in no time at all. I feel prepared for every situation. Let's do this. I'm showing up and I'm coaching the Super Bowl in a Hawaiian shirt, and I'm winning Pete $1,400.
Yeah, I think that's the most fun bet, and even someone who loves to just piss money away like myself would have a hard time putting $10 on that one.
Oh, I know, but I would love that to happen. Yeah, I have all these offhand because I wrote on Fake Teams. I wrote a list of my favorite Super Bowl LIV prop bets. Because another one that's great: will a non-QB throw a touchdown? Plus 315 for yes, minus 530 for no.
And hopefully someone will rudely correct me if I'm wrong. For people who don't bet a lot, that plus 315 means if you bet $100, you win $315. And the minus 200 means you have to bet $200 to win $100. Right. So the bigger the positive number, the less likely something is to happen, the better the payout is. Anyway, so good thing we did that in the middle of the podcast. Yeah, exactly. For all of the inexperienced gamblers
for
out
all
there.
Those who came to get gambling advice from non-gamblers, and we now just told you how to gamble.
Yeah, I found a couple of the player props. Tyreek Hill to have 70+ receiving yards and 1 touchdown minus 135.
No,
right? That's
no.
I can't do that.
Why would you? Unless you're parlay, no, I'm not going to make that a standalone bet where I have to put $300+ to just hope that Tyreek Hill gets 70+ yards in a TD.
Yeah, so I'm staying away from those. I do love to parlay because it can be super fun to put 4 or 5 things together, especially just on a regular NFL Sunday. Put $20 down. You're probably going to lose, but then the payout is, well, if things happen the way that you've convinced yourself via narrative that it's going to, then it's super fun.
Yeah, so last year, I do this for the last 3 Super Bowls. I give myself $200 and I just say I'll never see this $200 again, and I just place fun bets. I put
as you should do with all gambling.
All gambling should just be I will never see this money again, and if I do, that's great. I put $100 on James Devlin scoring a touchdown at plus 1,200 last year's Super Bowl. So when Gronk caught it at the 1 yard line, I was just like, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening. I'm about to just make $1,200. And then Sony Michel punched it in, and it was crippling to me, but it definitely was exciting. It was the most excited I'd never been for a fullback dive.
That's awesome. And what's fun is kind of first touchdown, picking the returner or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like first touchdown props because it may get paid off real quick, or it may be something that you can actually enjoy all game without sweating so hard, like the over and under. So I just have a couple here that I think would be fun. George Kittle plus 1,000, Damian Williams plus 6,500 or plus 650. Sorry. And then if you want to go more long shots, Levine Toilolo is at plus 10,000. So, and one that I like, Kyle Juszczyk is plus 3,000. And by I mean, for a long shot,
it could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen. I also like the fact that Levine Toilolo plus 10,000 is the same as no touchdowns will be scored in this game plus 10,000. that's how much confidence Vegas has in Levine Toilolo catching a touchdown. It's the same as there not being a touchdown scored, which is 0%.
Yeah. Those are really fun. And then things like no touchdown first quarter, no touchdown in the game. I mean, I don't think anyone had the 13-3 line, but
Still
no
a
touchdown
touchdown,
in the
though.
game with these two. I don't think is going to happen. But no touchdown first quarter. You know, you've seen the games where there's just a lot of, you know, monkeys trying to F a doorknob running around out there trying to figure things out while they.
Is that a saying? Monkeys trying to F a doorknob?
It's sort of it's an edited saying from
Sure.
Dodgeball. All of our fans will remember.
Oh, correct. All right. You and your references. You're so in it and in tune with pop culture, Clark. Sometimes I forget just how involved you are.
I'm a man of a different era. That's right.
Yeah. Travis Kelce plus 225 for anytime touchdown scorer in the first half.
I like it. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Really awesome. I mean, I wouldn't do this because this is irresponsible. But if you want to tell a story about having a dynamic tight end is like the new hot thing in the NFL, which I'm sure like hundreds of people have written in the past 2 weeks, we have two of the best tight ends, or like the two best tight ends in the game in Kittle and Kelce. And just, I think they're incredibly athletic and dynamic, but there are also other incredible and dynamic tight ends that we know are just floundering on these other teams and not being taken advantage of, like we saw with Delaney Walker for a decade. I think there's you've got to give half to the player for being amazing, and then half to both Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan for finding a way to get those guys involved, and especially tip of the cap to Kyle Shanahan, running the fullbacks so much, just really doing some old school things that have become new school again because everyone stopped doing them. Again, use check plus 3,000. Boy. Yeah.
Almost as good as 49ers winning by 43 plus points at 8,000.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is deported before the game, and I don't know.
And it's Matt Moore, except for the fact that Matt Moore is still like put up
a
still
functioning
Chiefs offense.
Yeah, he's still fine.
Unless the Chiefs like spontaneously combust on the field, I'm not sure why anyone would put money on that.
Andy Reid wears a Hawaiian shirt and loses respect of all of his players,
and they all leave. Well, at least I made $1,200, $1,400. That's all that matters. Right. Do you have any bets that you are driving up to Canada to like go put money on that you're certain are going to come true?
No, I mean I just kind of like to throw things on first touchdown over under. I do like to do stuff like first half over under because at least then you can either get a little win early without having to sweat the whole thing. I think the first half over unders are pretty close to just the lines that we have for the whole game. So first half over 24, I'll probably take the under on that one, just expecting things to take a little time to get going. But yeah, nothing I'm really honing in on.
I like there's one that I liked a lot. Patrick Mahomes throws 2 or more touchdowns in any quarter plus 210. Like if the 49ers get up, 17 and whatever, or maybe even it's like 10-3 after the first quarter, and then the Chiefs come out, boom, 14 points on the board, no problem. Like I think this Chiefs offense can throw that. They've shown that they can do that, no problem. That seems pretty good to me.
Is there anything for like Jimmy Garoppolo scoring or passing for 3 touchdowns at really long odds? Something like that would be interesting, kind of a huge departure from what got the team there. I don't think
who throws more touchdown passes in the game? Jimmy G is plus 190.
No,
that's terrible.
I wouldn't. I mean, I think plus 500 would be the ballpark of where I'd like start thinking about it.
But Jimmy G over under total touchdown passes 1.5. The over is minus 135.
I would take the under. I would take the under on that one.
You would take the under on that. The under
just one touchdown or none. Yeah.
The under is not that much though either. The under 1.5 is 105.
Yeah, it's just a straight up.
You're just taking
bet. I'd take that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I want them to be able to tell me exactly like tell me exactly, be able to put money on exactly how many touchdowns Jimmy G throws. I'm not seeing that option. Upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. So one of the great things about Bovada is there's so many options, and that's what's making it hard to kind of scroll through here and
the towel.
Pick something out. But yeah, really excited about the Super Bowl. Having spent no time listening to any run up to it really makes it great. So outside of this podcast, who thank you for all of you sticking with us all year.
Yeah.
The Media Blackout, really highly recommend.
You've kind of patented that move. It's a good move for you. It works.
It's enjoyable. Also, started a new job. So I'm not on a computer just like doing nothing all day like my old office job. Really fun stuff.
That's good. Hey, I can getting a puppy for that that basically gets you off the air as well. Have just not been on the internet forever because it's like I occasionally will check in to like maybe write an article or to like tweet something out. But for the most part, it's just like, all right, where are we going for a walk now, pupper?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a family to think about now.
I got a family.
So
I have a child to raise. And this is
your
why
priorities change.
This is why Andy Reid needs to wear a Hawaiian shirt so that I can make money to provide for my child.
Those rawhide bones that are colored to look like real bones aren't going to buy themselves.
They don't pay for themselves. They don't. Let me promise you that. Awesome. Well, we just wanted to record a quick little pod and get some good question in quotation mark gambling advice out there, but mainly just to get Clark back on the airwaves so that everyone, since we've all been missing Clark's voice, we can now hear it and look at the beautiful. I can't stop staring at that puppy behind your shoulder.
It's
not
great.
a real
There's
puppy,
also
listeners, but
there's also Katie's sister in a pair of acid washed holy jeans petting her horse.
Yes.
Above my other shoulder. That's possibly one of my favorite pictures ever.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're living your best life right now.
Like if Whitesnake was a country band, that's probably an album cover.
another very topical
reference. Another hip
You're
reference
You're killing it.
On the pod.
Whitesnake's national anthem song would be like 5 minutes long.
I at least. It would be like, I think like first burst of fireworks color would be a good prop for really any show. Is Shakira doing a halftime show?
Shakira and J-Lo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you want to know what are
together
the odds
at last
if they have a wardrobe malfunction?
Sure.
Because I got it. It's plus 1,200 for yes, minus 7,500 for no.
I feel like you could really dive into what do we mean by malfunction? Like, do you mean, am I seeing boob, or do you mean like one of them has their shoes untied, which I could argue is a wardrobe
malfunction. Will their shoes even have ties? They'll probably have
or will it just be Crocs? I mean, they're big now, right?
Yeah, let's have J-Lo and Shakira do the entire halftime show in Crocs.
In Crocs and yoga pants and just an old sweatshirt.
I mean, yes. I couldn't ask for a better halftime show.
Really going to speak to Middle America on that one.
Hey, I that was like the go-to attire for all of the girls in my high school.
Yeah, me too. I mean, yoga pants are great.
Yoga pants. I am insulted that there haven't been a men's yoga pants yet.
That's right.
What are we doing, yoga? Get your shit together.
The yoga pant company out there.
Yoga pant company, get your shit together. All right. We'll be back at you guys on next Tuesday. Next week, we'll recap the Super Bowl and talk all kinds of goodness. Clark has written down all of our bets, and we'll see how well we did in terms of whether or not we were correct on any of them. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whole 9 yards. We are there. Follow us on Twitter at RB1 Podcast. Follow myself at Pete M. Rogers. Follow Clark at NFL Clark. Until then, peace.